with like the touching at night, you know, like something paranormal, you know, I didn't know what it was. And then all of a sudden I felt something make contact with my head, and it felt like it pierced my crown, like right up here. And when it pierced my crown, I got flashes in my eyes and my whole body started shaking. And I kind of pulled myself out of it, and I jumped out of bed. I was like, what the F was that? You know, I was like, what the F was that? And ever since then, for 2 months, I've had what you would call like a astral parasite. That's the best way I can put it, where it feels like something's like nipping at your neck or nipping at your crown, or it locks onto your ear. It's really weird, and I can't see it. At times it's felt like I've had a bug on me. So I've actually got into some like really different kinds of healing techniques. Right now I'm kind of doing some Japanese Shinto. I found a guy on YouTube. He does 3 healings at night, and it's Japanese Shinto, and it's like a meditative practice where you do these purifications and clearings every night, and that helps clear the entities off. Because I've had like 8 or 9 people try to clear this off of me, and like it just keeps reattaching for some reason, you know. So it's really been like tough to deal with, you know, like it's really been like, you know, because it messes up your cognitive abilities and your clarity, and it's like it seems to like always want to mess with me. But the more I talk about it, the more power I give it, you know. It seems like.
Well, are you a personal energy worker?
No, I'm not, but I have a lot of friends who are, you know, and a lot of them have tried to clear this up.
I was going to suggest you try to do the following. When you're in this kind of meditative state, imagine believing in it. Imagine a reflective screen around you, and then imagine empowering it with white energy from the universe, and say, this shield repels anything negative. I don't want any of you near me. Go away. And see what that, and then do it over and over and see if it works. I mean, that gives you agency. You want agency for yourself rather than having to depend on others. When Lala gets here, and she's on her way, by the way, they left the urgent care place. She's on her way back. But when Lala gets here, she will talk to you about this. She may not make a personal recommendation on air, but we know 2 really powerful people, and one of them cut the cord that she had attached to her. So it was amazing.
Wow, that gives me hope, you know. I mean, I could tell you a little bit about me, like, you know, but while we're waiting, you know, for your audience. So I was a big fan of Art Bell growing up, and I kind of stumbled upon it, you know. And I tell everybody this, every interview I do, I tell people this. So what happened was, I had a girlfriend back when I was 21. This is 2001, and you know, I didn't know much about any of this stuff, you know. And I found this guy on at night here. I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So, you know, it's like a city, but, you know, I live in like a small town outside of Pittsburgh. And like, I was taking my girlfriend home that night, and I found this guy on the radio talking about, and this is when you had to like turn the dial on the radio, you know. It was like not like today where you can go on the internet and you can, you know. And he was talking about like UFOs and paranormal, and like I was so like enthralled, you know what I mean? Because I was always into like mysteries as a kid, and I always loved the, like, you know, I always wanted to know the mysteries of the life. I was fascinated with the pyramids and everything, you know, that kind of goes bump in the night. And so I found Art Bell, and then I kind of always followed like UFO radio throughout my life. Like I would like follow people like Alejandro Rojas, and, you know, just any like UFO radio I could find. And then I that was kind of on and off, and, you know, my life went by and stuff like that. And then in 2015, I had what you could call like a reawakening. And what happened that day was I was always into like ancient history, you know, and I was researching something, I think, on Alexander the Great, because I have Greek heritage, you know. And I found this video on the Anunnaki, and it was by Matthew LaCroix, and it like floored me. You know, that I was like, so they're lying to us about our history, or possibly, you know. And I was like, and what haven't they told us? So I remember emailing him that day, and that the title of the video was The Battle of the Eagle versus the Serpent. And it was about the 2 Anunnaki brothers, Enki and Enlil. And I had so many questions. I was like, so who are these, you know, gods, and like what happened with all this, and is it real? And, you know, and Matthew is really nice, and that started me down like a series of events where I wanted to go down every rabbit hole and like, investigate everything I could, from conspiracies, 9/11, JFK, all that stuff, to like, all the stuff I talk about today. But I never thought that I would get as deep in it as I am, And so what happened was in 2020, when the whole thing happened, we shall not name because we're on YouTube. Well, I lost my job, and I was looking for something to do. And I remembered, I think I had been posting on videos on YouTube since 2019. And then I just started, I was like, I was watching a lot of shows like Leak Project with Rex Bear. And I was watching Forbidden Knowledge News with Chris Matthew. And I was like, man, I want to do what they do. I think I can have something to offer in this. I really felt like I could offer something to people that they might enjoy. So I started interviewing people, and then it built up to the point where my channel started taking off. And then in 2023, I said, I'm just going to quit my job and I'm going to try to do this full time. And I've been doing it full time ever since. And I never thought that I would get as deep as I am into some of the topics, like, and I'd say in like maybe 2021 or 2022, I started covering, the secret space program and all this stuff that goes along with that, and then it turned into, people who say they've been abducted by the military, and obviously alien abductions, and, targeted individuals. And, I kind of cover everything really fringe. And I like to cover conspiracies too. And I like to cover just straight up UFOs and UFO sightings. I love ufology. So that's kind of like a brief background about me. I hope that was interesting. I get nervous when I want to show.
No, I'm big time into the UFO stuff. Like, let me give you an example. I'm personal friends with and actually work for Richard Dolan. I'm the moderator and administrator of the Richard Dolan Forum. Grant Cameron is friends with Lala and me. When we began doing personal research into orbs, he created a Facebook group, a messenger group called Orbology, based on the fact that I was a scientist that worked at a place he knew, and she was an experiencer that he knew about, and he kind of adopted us, and it built this whole huge group. And just let me give you an example. In 30 days, that group showed and demonstrated over 1 million pieces of evidence of orbs from their lives. And so, and I just returned from UFOCon 2025 in San Francisco, where Lorian Fenton, Melinda Leslie, a bunch of other people who have Milabs and abductions are kind of run the thing and tell the story. And it was full. The reason I like this particular conference is it's totally dedicated to experiencers and the anomalous. That's what comes. If you're a talking head and you want to sell something, that's not really the place to come. You can come and sell stuff, but it's regular people. The hot shots, they were all off at Archive of the Impossible, where I had a good time, and I hung out with Jason Sands and a lot.
What's he like?
Oh, he's a great guy. I mean, come on. And he showed me all of the evidence that the people around the country are picking on him about. His background, proof, all of that. He showed me all of it. So I'm a.
Can I just say I'm a bit. In case they ever see this, I'm a big fan of Richard Dolan. He was someone who was really influential in my in like my studies too. Like I don't know as much as him, but that guy is amazing. Like I think he's one of the best. There's like two people that I really, and I love Grant Cameron as well. I think Grant Cameron is amazing as well. But I like James Bartley a lot as far as like UFO research. I think he's pretty amazing. And Richard Dolan, I like James Bartley because he gets into like the old school alien abductions, and he gets into new Milabs and stuff like that. And I love Richard Dolan because Richard Dolan's like a dictionary of information on ufology. So that's amazing that you Richard. I love his work, and Grant Cameron. They're both amazing people.
Well, Richard's just begun to release his new series of books on USOs. So it's going to be way over 1,000 pages total and 3 volumes.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, that's I can tell you, I had my own sighting recently, which was
Yeah,
crazy
so you
because it was
had an
during,
experience. Tell us about it.
so it was during the, and I have the one, I can send it to you on film to see what you think about it. Though,
Yeah, sure.
so what
Please.
I was able to, what I have was, okay, so when during the whole drone craze, when like like there was a lot of drones and orbs over like New York and New Jersey and all that stuff. What happened was I came outside of my apartment after a podcast one day, and I was, just looking. I was smoking and I was looking up at the sky, and all of a sudden, coming gliding over, I caught it from like way over here, and it was a drone, and I was like, wait, is that a drone or a plane? And it like the light was on the front of it, and it looked like aerodynamic in a way that a plane didn't look, and it was kind of like gliding. So I have it on my Instagram too. People can go look on there, which my Instagram's at Kalil Robert. It's my name, Robert Kalil backwards. So it's at Kalil Robert. And the drone footage is on there. I also have a really cool video of something hanging off the moon. It looks like something is like it's a separate video. It's like I have a video of something hanging off the moon. But then 3 days later, after I saw that drone sighting, I had the weirdest sighting in the world. I'd love to get your opinion on this. We have BP gas stations here in Pennsylvania. I don't know if you guys have those where you're at, but I mean, so I was walking to the BP, and I was so stunned. This was like 9 o'clock at night when things are starting to close down here in Pittsburgh, and I saw like 300 feet above the BP was this like plasmoid shape shifting orb type thing, and I tried getting my phone to record it. I couldn't get that one. I felt like it made my phone malfunction for some reason. Like my camera wasn't, I got the drone, but I wasn't able to get the orb, but the best way I can tell you what I saw was like it felt like something like, if you ever see like those videos like that Jaime Maussan shows of the real weird UFOs in Mexico, that's kind of like what it looked like, it reminded me of. It definitely felt like otherworldly, it definitely felt like not from here. But those are my two big sightings, and
those are awesome. Just describe them in as much detail as you want.
I mean, the drone it definitely seemed like it was a drone. And when I saw the drone, the feeling I got was like, are we in like George Orwell's 1984? Is this like the total technocratic takeover of America? Because like, sooner, like after that, I had Robert Earl White. He's working with I can't remember the guy's name, but they have a project called Project Horizon where they're filming a lot of the UFOs and drones, and they're getting a lot of good evidence. But he was saying that some of these drones can they can see through like windows and stuff like that. And they have a really amazing production rate and stuff like that. So with the drone, it was kind of weird, but then with the orb, I was just blown away because I had never had a sighting before in my life, so it was pretty special to me,
Oh, that's terrific. Yeah. So yeah, we see orbs here regularly, and occasional, less often we see craft, and we have all sorts of stuff going on in the house. Orbs float through our bedroom every night, and we just kind of ignore them. And lots of stuff can look like dust. None of these orbs look like dust. I mean, they're really behave wildly. And so I put up enhance the evidence. I put up a fan on the other side of the room. So if it was dust, it would blow it all toward the bedroom door. And they still just do this. They move around like they don't even care the fan is there. So it is not dust. So given a scientist, I go, how can I eliminate dust? And I picked up a way to do it that was simple that anyone can do. And Robert, Bridget wants to know, and I'm sure the rest of our people, what is your new channel? Your fans in here want to know where you are now.
It's YouTube at TruthSeeker5197. It's real easy, guys. So just go to at TruthSeeker5197, and you'll know and I'm also on Rumble too, where I get like you said, I get more views on Rumble, and that's just rumble.com/typical skeptic. But, I am on YouTube. I think I have like a little over 2,000 subscribers. It's not like, or no, a little bit less than 2,000 subscribers. Sorry. And you'll see it's called Typical Skeptic Podcast 2.0. I see Tennessee, Kentucky, Bigfoot's in the audience. He's been on my show a lot, and they watch my show. And Ange, it's good to see Ange is in the crowd too. I love Ange. She's awesome as well. Yeah, she's from Australia.
I missed her. Let me put it. I don't want to leave her out. She's a regular viewer, and so is Tennessee. Kentucky Bigfoot, and it's just really good to have these people come back regularly. But
can I tell you something, Science Paul?
These days,
I've been a fan of your work for like a long time. I used to watch you on Spaced Out Radio before you even came on my show. I used to watch you on Spaced Out Radio when you'd be talking to Dave, and you'd always have really good information. I remember that.
Yep. So just for you in the audience, to Wednesday night, I'm on Science Bob on Spaced Out Radio, and I have a scientist who has done a lot of really interesting work in what's called the Roswell of Mexico, and we will be talking about some of the weird experiences. We had an entity walk into that conference, walk through the hall in front of John Ramirez, Jason Sands, Dave Scott, me, and others, and then looked weird. And one of the women jumped up and said, "Who are you?" Turned the corner, and as she was going down the hall, they grabbed her and turned her around. I saw that she had black eyes, and then she was obstructed for me by one of the women. But John Ramirez saw her, and the two women and John Ramirez saw her disappear right in front of them. I got up there and I went all over the place trying to find other weird people, and her gone. What can I say?
That's amazing, though.
It was wild. So I'm still like, wow. That was Saturday night. Saturday night that happened.
What was the name of the conference? Was it, because I didn't know about it. Was it
UFO Con 2025 in San Francisco?
That's cool. Wow.
Yeah, you should try to go to it, because that's a good conference for people with your interest and your experiences.
Yeah. That's amazing. So, I'm gonna definitely try. There's a lot of good conferences coming up this summer as well, too. It seems like, it's definitely a way to network and get your stuff out there, but yeah. Were you a big Art Bell fan growing up, like back in the day?
Oh my goodness, yes. I used to listen to Coast to Coast, and I listened to Nuri, and I know Nuri, and I know George, and so I listen mostly when I do Coast to Coast now. I'm listening to George because he and I know each other.
Yeah. What do you think of all the?
A lot of people. I go into a soapbox. George Knapp is directly responsible, or one step behind the scene, indirectly responsible for almost all the major developments in ufology since 1989. People just don't realize how important George is to this.
Yeah. I tried getting him on my show. He told me to email him back in a couple months. So, I marked that on my calendar. I'm like, because I'd love to get George Knapp on my show. I've had a couple people who were on Art Bell on my show, but I have a high reverence for George. I think George is pretty amazing. Hey Lala.
Hey, sorry I'm late.
I told
That's
everybody.
Okay.
So, George Knapp, yeah, he's hard to get on the show.
I'll talk to him and see what we can do. Here, move him to the center there. That way you're not hanging out on the side. Okay. What do you want to ask? Go for it.
What did you guys cover? Any demonology, scary shit?
No. But he just talked about what might be an attachment, and I think you need to introduce.
It's definitely an attachment. I can tell you about it. Like, and now that more people join, so here's what happened. This has been happening for like, I told Bob that this has been happening for like the past 2 years since I broke up with my ex. Like, what happened? It happened in stages, right? So what happened at first was it happened when my ex was here at first, and like something would be touching me in the middle of the night, and then I kind of got freaked out by that. So I got it cleared out of here. I had someone clear it out of here. Then about 6 months ago, I was laying down and I felt like, and this is all happening in the studio that I'm in now, you know, I felt like there were entities like coming up off the ground, like portaling in from the ground and kind of like loose feeding off my liver, which like, you know, which I also told them, I have a liver issue. I have like what you call fatty liver. So it would be a good target for entities to attach to. And then that kind of like, I got that taken care of. Now something happened 2 months ago that it like really hit me really hard, and it really messes up a lot. I mean, I try to stay cognitive. I try to stay, you know, clear and stuff, but it's an entity attachment. And what happened was, from the best of my knowledge, what I can remember is I was receiving a lot of energy work at the time, because I have a lot of friends who are energy workers, and my friend was kind of healing. She was trying to heal my liver. So I remember being in here one night, and I remember something touching me, and I didn't think anything of it, you know, and but then it felt like it was scanning my head, whatever this was, and it made contact with my crown, and it pierced my crown. Then all these flashes went in my eyes, and then I started like shaking, like, you know, like my whole body. And I jumped out of bed and I said, what the F? And ever since that night, that's what I can trace back. I've had an attachment, and I've thought everything from like AI nanobots to demonic entities to astral parasites, because that's what it seems like the most. It seems like an astral parasite because it'll attach to my ears. It attaches to my crown. It'll try to attach to the back of my neck. It tries to go in my ears. It's pretty serious, you know. And it kind of like, you know, like I did a UFO conference like about, I would say 2 weeks ago, and it locked onto my, it wasn't messing with me up until that point when it would only mess with me when I would leave my studio. Or no, I'm sorry. It would only mess with me when I was in my studio. When I would leave my studio, I would be clear, you know, but this day it locked onto me, and it locked onto my ear for the entire conference. And it was miserable because I had to live stream the conference. It was a local conference here in Pittsburgh, and I had to be a guest speaker as well. So, I mean, and then, I mean, I've had like 9 people try to clear me. Obviously I don't have the money for that kind of stuff, but I mean, like, they were out of the goodness out of their hearts. They tried to help me. And then I had my friend who's a deliverance minister, was Bill Bean. Bill Bean tried to do a deliverance on me. And then I had my friend Greg Yawakia, who's a Native American elder. He did a Native American ceremony for me. The thing keeps reattaching. You know, then this last weekend, my friend Rodika, she's like an energy worker. She tried doing some energy work to clear it out of me, and no dice. It just keeps reattaching. So it's a pretty serious thing. It's like, that's why it's on my mind, you know. And I figured it'd be good for your audience because, you know, I feel like if I make it out of this, I'm going to write a book on it about like a real nasty entity attachment that like will not go away, and it seems to like feed off my energy, you know.
Well, you will make it out of it. And I'm glad you're talking about it because it happens. It's more common than people realize. I've had it happen too, and it started. I call it the grief monster. When I lost my parents and everybody, this thing just appeared, and at first it was just in my dreams, right? But then right, but then it started showing up when I'm awake. I would have bruises. I woke up to something really physically happening to me. And I went through a bunch of people to try to get help. There's one person, well, Mercedes, my friend Mercedes, she helped me also. So I would talk to Mercedes Benedict. And the second person I would speak to is June Lundridge. Now, June doesn't, if it's an attachment that's demonic, she does not charge. She did not charge me. I did buy a reading from her, but that was just a reading. But she does help people for free with attachments. And I swear to God, this thing has not, it lingers every once in a while, but it has not touched me, hurt me, bothered me. And I was surprised. It was with me for a couple of years. I really didn't think anything was going to have help at all. So I'll give you their information.
And I've had June on my show. She's an angelic spiritual warrior. Mm-hmm. And her backup is the Archangel Michael.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't think of calling. I've had her on my show, but I got to email her and see if she could help. That's a good question. I never thought about that, you know? And it's weird. It seems like this thing like reacts off like my, if I have anxiety, it will build up. If I have like emotional, it'll build up. It knows how to take advantage of my weaknesses. You know what I mean?
it'll feed off of that. It really will. And sometimes it'll cause things in your life to happen, like breakups or whatever, just so you are more upset, so it can get more energy from you. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry you're going with that, you know.
One thing I your audience might find really interesting as well is I've been trying to find everybody that to clear this, and I found this guy. His name's Benton Ryer, and he's really interesting. He's on YouTube. He's a Japanese Shinto. It's like Japanese esoteric Shinto, and what he does every night is like he does clearings for people. He does them free, and then if people want to donate, they can. And I've been going to his healing group every night. He does it every night at midnight because for those of you guys who have entity attacks out in the audience, they'll know that that's the worst time at night. Like that's when they hit us the hardest for whatever reason. Like my entity attacks come at like 1 to 5 a.m. and it's like all out spiritual warfare in here. I got the holy water. I got the Bible. I got, sage and Palo Santo and smudge spray. And like, I got every trick in the book to try to like get rid of this thing, you know what I mean? Because I'm telling you, from 1 to 5 a.m. shit goes down, you know what I mean? And it's like an all-out attack. But going back to what I was saying, so I found this dude, and he seems like if you do the meditations, it seems to clear you for a decent amount of time. And he told me that if I keep doing the clearings, that it would eventually go away. But I have seen a lot of improvement to where after I do the clearings, I feel more like clear-headed, and I have a lot more clarity and stuff like that.
Do you happen to have anything in your studio that might belong to your? Is she your ex now? Is that what you said? That it might be there.
Yes,
that might have,
yeah.
Is there anything? It might not be hers. It might just be something there that you got from a friend or took from a place. Because sometimes things attach to objects as well.
Oh yes. Oh.
I have a huge piece of selenite that my ex gave me. It said that she got it from a cave in Macedonia. I don't know, but I have a story. So how I thought this could have been happening too is an interesting story. So my ex used to have a haunted doll that she bought off of eBay, and she told me that like this is a hilarious story. So she said that like this doll, it was like probably like this big, and she said it was like a little alien doll. But she said, the seller told her it was like officially haunted, and she bought it. And she said the doll would talk to her, like it would like tell her where it wanted to be, and she would move it from different places in the closet. But then she said the doll started getting like real sadistic, and the doll was telling her to have sex with it. And so I swear to God, So listen to what she did. She does the smart thing. Or this isn't, I'm joking about this one, but she shoved it in a wall in the middle of Pittsburgh here somewhere. I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So, and she just let it go. I said, why would you do that? That's like, it's not going to do anything. Probably that spirit followed her, and maybe that spirit attached onto me, or God forbid, for whoever finds that doll, they're going to be haunted, so that one, I don't think that was the best move,
That was messed up.
I won't have a doll in here.
But yeah, if I've had an incubus issue, I honestly think that's what that thing was, because certain things that happened. And they can bother significant others. So it hated any male that I was with, even if it was a friend. It would bother them. I mean, so they're very possessive, and they will latch on to other people when they can. So, and you need to tell people this also, that it could be an incubus, because that's a whole nother ballpark, really, But
that's demonic, and June can help you.
Oh yeah, and it took 2 times. Her to help me 2 times for to actually help. At first, it just pissed it off, which scared me really. I went to get a facial from my friend at the spa, and I started talking about it, and the lights in the room flickered. Weird shit happened. So whenever I would bring it up, it would just get angry. And then the second time, it finally is gone. But every once in a while, I'll feel it, or I have a dream, and but it can't touch me, at least. But it's still kind of lingering, which freaks me out. But whatever.
She's giving it the spiritual bird.
I think it's at the point where it's like it's causing issues in my life. Like I think it messes with my luck. I think it messes with my finances, and I honestly think it messed with me today when I was out. I went with my mom to the grocery store. My mom picked me up, and we went to the grocery store. And my mom's like driving, and we almost get into like 2 accidents. Like, what are the chances of that? And like, and my mom's usually a good driver. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you know, like what are the chances that even like would happen? You know what I mean? Like. I don't know. So, and I've noticed it too when I'm around friends. Like I was over at my friend's house this weekend, and my friends started acting weird. Like, so it's like it seems like the entity can like kind of attach to other people and make other people act weird around me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it happened to one of my mom when my mom was still alive. Right after my dad died, is when it all started. It hopped onto my mom's cat. And my mom's cat never did this. The eyes got pure black. I swear to God, the eyes got pure black, and it kept trying to attack me to the point where I closed myself into her bedroom, and she had to like go after it. And it was just the strangest thing. And then other shit happened. I dreamt of, like, where I live in Maryland, I never saw a coyote before. And I dreamt of a coyote that freaked me out. It was on my back porch. I woke up, because at the time I smoked real cigarettes. And when I woke up from that dream, I went on the back porch, and the coyote was sitting there. So it can hop onto people and things. It's the strangest thing. I know it sounds cuckoo. I know I do, but
no, you don't. It's all this stuff is normal to a lot of people. You don't sound cuckoo.
It just likes to stalk you. I think that's health and everything, accidents. It will do all that.
Yeah, I think it's you know, throughout my research, like I even was talking to a really cool demonologist. He's really cool. He lives in Thailand. His name is Sadhu Da, and he came on my show, and he's like you know, but he was telling me that about like the characteristics of like these demons and like what they do, and you know, it's really kind of what he was saying over there in Thailand, it's more in the culture, right? Like they like pray to spirits, and they honor spirits all the time. Whereas over here in Western culture, it's so taboo, right? Like it's like you can't tell. Like I can tell you about this because you understand, but like, and your audience and my audience understand. But like, if we tell like, you know, some of our normal friends or our parents or like, you know, our girlfriend or whatever, like they might think we're crazy. You know, like it's like that's the problem. I think there needs to be more education on the paranormal and like. In America, you know?
Absolutely. It would help so many people. I think a lot of people have attachments and they don't even know.
Yeah.
Sometimes they never figure it out and they die of health reasons or whatever. And I think a lot of people in charge have attachments, and that's why they're so corrupt. I know that sounds weird, but I really do think there's more than we realize than what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what they are, but, you know.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think a lot of people in power have attachments, and what I was going to say was I don't know how I got this thing. You know, if it wasn't from my ex, I was thinking that maybe someone sent me like some kind of black magic or something, because what I noticed some weird things like leading up to this as well. Like I noticed some weird animals outside of my apartment, like when this all started happening. Like it seemed like someone sent a familiar. Like I'm sure you know that. Like in witchcraft, they use a familiar, they'll use an animal to see through someone's eyes, and it was like, you know, owls are like night creatures, right? Like, and one time I came out of my apartment to smoke, and like right in front of me, as dead as day, it was like this. Or not, you know, it was this owl, and it was this little owl, and it was looking at me, and I was like, huh, that's weird. And I didn't think nothing of it, but then it happened again, and it happened like 3 times. And I was like, is someone like remote viewing me through the eyes of this owl, and like, are they trying to check me out? And it was bizarre, you know. And then I've even thought that maybe this was some kind of like targeting from the government, like, you know, because I've had people who are military abductees tell me that the government can use entities, and they do use entities and stuff like that too, you know. And maybe if you're putting out information that they don't like, maybe they can send you an entity to discredit you, to make you look crazy or something like that. So I've thought of all kinds of stuff, you know.
Holy shit. I believe it. I do. I mean, I've never heard that before, but I mean, it makes sense. They dabble in all kinds of things we're not aware of. So
yeah.
Have you ever had a dream that someone was trying to give you food or feed you food? Because a lot
No,
of times,
but I will tell you this. Like, I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but I mean, this is kind of separate. But like you brought up dreams, so I think your audience will find this interesting. And like the people from my audience that are watching, they already know this, but like I'd love to get your opinion on this because you're a psychic and you know about this stuff. So what happens is a lot of times, and I haven't had this since I've had the entity, but before this it was happening a lot where I'll go into the dream state and I'll be sleeping for like 5 hours, but it'll feel like I'm gone for like 5 months. And in that time, I'm in this dream and I'm aware that I'm there and I'm able to be lucid in it and I know who I am in the dream. But it's weird. It's like I can't figure some things out because somehow I know the people, but I don't know them. It's like I'm aware that I'm this person in the dream, but I'm also aware I'm myself and I'm not supposed to be there. But I end up staying and I'm like living out this whole like other reality in like a five, and it feels like I'm there for a long time. And then I wake up and it's only been 5 hours. So it makes me think like, where do we go when we dream? Did we go to like other realities or like multiple, dimensions? Or it's interesting,
I am very interested in the dream world and why we dream. I think we do go into different realms. I think maybe we have different families and lives. I mean, I don't know, but I know that a lot of the times, ever since I was little, I've gotten messages or warnings in my dreams, and they've always come true. So there's something going on, we're going somewhere, and there's other entities connecting with us and talking to us. And I've talked about this before, but on TikTok, I'm addicted to TikTok, but on TikTok, all over the world, people that don't know each other are having these things in their dreams where they become aware that they're dreaming, and they ask the time or the date, and all of a sudden the people that are their friends or family in the dream, their eyes turn black, they get upset, and they either get saved by a dream. They're called dream character. They either get saved by somebody and they wake up, or they get killed out of their dream. It's very interesting. And I've had one time the black eye thing. That's what I want to learn about more.
Yeah. That fascinates me because it makes me think, are we, being visited by demonic entities, and do they influence us when we dream? That's a big question. Like, how much do they influence us? If you think about it, we could be being, and do you think it ties into ETs at all? Like, do you think, because a couple people told me that like my experiences, because what was interesting is when I had this entity attachment, like there's a window right to the left of me, and like I have a mirror on the window right now because I felt like what was happening was I felt there was something portaling in here because I would hear like a whirlwind, and every time I would hear this little whirlwind, I would feel like the astral parasites would attack. So I was like, well, how can I block the portal? And people were telling me, they're like, just close down the portal. And I tried that, it didn't work. So I put a mirror up to reflect anything, because I that's another thing from witchcraft. You put a mirror up and it kind of reflects like the bad energy, right? And supposedly I think that's worked a little bit so far, but I don't know. It's really interesting what I'm dealing with. Like, I would say it's a real paranormal phenomena for sure. The reasons why I know that, what I mean, I can feel it move on me. I can feel it like go up and down my body, like, and that's kind of creepy. When I would go to bed at night, sometimes when it was real bad in here, like bumps and lumps would come off my pillow and would come off my bed. Like my bed would start moving, basically. Like it was, it was kind of creepy. And then the temperature in the room would change. Like that closet that's behind me by the lights, like I think that's where the thing nests. I think that's where it goes, because if I open that closet, it's like a meat locker in there. It's like freezing. And I've tried to, burn sage in there. I've tried to spray holy water and all kinds of stuff. And like, I've even tried to people have told me that I call out to Jesus. I've called out to Jesus and everything. It's like when I pray for myself, like nothing happens, but when other people pray for me, it seems to alleviate it. Almost like this thing's like trying to take away my, I don't know. Like, I don't know, like it's trying, I don't, it's strange for sure.
It's trying to take your power away from you. It is. Um,
Yeah.
It's interesting as I kept feeling something strange in that corner behind you, and it feels like a male energy to me. It might not be a man energy, but it feels male, dominant energy. Um, how long have you been there? Have you been there a while, or is this new?
I have an interesting. I'm so glad you said that because what I remember is I moved in here two years ago by myself, and then when I moved in here, like I remember smelling like this weird. Like I know the guy that lived here before me. He was a Hindu, or he was like Indian, and he practiced. I think he practiced Hinduism. I don't know for sure, but what gave me that notion is I smelled something really strange when I came in the apartment. It smelled really strong, like really strong. And I thought to myself right away, I was like, I wonder if this guy was burning something to like ward off spirits. And that's what was in my mind. And then now what I'm dealing with, I'm thinking, well, I've been here 2 years. Maybe it took time for this. And maybe the entity was here all along. And it took time to get accustomed to me and grow around me. And maybe this is the room that it manifests in, I've never saw it. I've never saw anything. I just I can feel it, and I've even thought about psychic attacks too. Like it might be psychic attacks, like someone sending me that, but I can't say for sure. I try to keep an open mind and stay neutral about everything because at the end of the day, I don't know what it is,
Yeah, when we're done the show, if you want, can you take a picture by a bright light or sunlight so I can see don't do it just your eyes, but your face so I can see your eyes clearly, and I'll see what I can pick up. Because this thing is a bully. I feel like you have a couple things going on, but there's just this one strong one that is just stubborn. I feel it's attached to either this home you're in or something in this room. I don't know if it's in a floorboard or what. Is there a way you can talk to the person that used to live there before and ask? I mean, it doesn't really matter if you sound crazy to him, honestly. He might tell you information that might help you.
Yeah, I don't know how to get a hold of them. I know they moved to like some other state. I know it was a guy and a girl and they had a baby. And that's what made me think something else. I said, maybe someone was trying to protect a baby. They had a baby. Because you think about it, that's what scares parents the most. Like if some entity is coming in a room at night and messing with their child, or if some aliens are coming, I've heard so many stories from like abductees who tell me that they've been abducted and then they go to sleep at night worrying because the aliens come and take their children as well. It's like abductions are in like hereditary, right? Like they're the grandmother, the mother, and then the offspring will usually all be having abductions. Like
it is.
It's interesting.
I think it's a generation thing or bloodline thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a couple of people thought that this was alien related, that it was like, gray aliens portaling in and messing with me or something like that, or like, grays with demons or something like that. But I'm not sure,
So
it's
like I said, you have a couple of different things around you, but that's normal because of the topics you talk about, the people you're around, and you're sensitive and they're drawn to you. But this thing, to me, it looks like a shadow person. Like I don't see details of a face; I just see blackness.
Yeah.
And it's just solid standing right behind you. I'm not trying to freak you out. It's not there right now, but this is what I'm seeing when I look at you, right? So you will get rid of it, but you have to be real careful. It's gonna try to make you go against yourself. So maybe depression or things like that, whatever that might mean to you. So you have to be careful about not being hard on yourself. It's not your fault. You're doing everything you can. Don't be upset with yourself. This thing wants you to kind of crumble. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying what I feel.
Just tell him what he needs,
But you will get rid of it. You will feel better, and it won't bother you after a while, which is good. But unfortunately, this thing will always try to bother somebody. It's just how it's made. I don't know what the hell it is really. So
Yeah, sometimes it feels like multiple entities inside. Like it feels like it's multiple. Like I don't know. Or maybe one entity can incorporate different parts of the body or be in different parts of the. Because sometimes I'll feel it in my liver and I'll feel it in my back, and I'm like, it's I've never dealt with anything like this in my life before. And it's weird because I've been covering this stuff for like 5 years and. Listen to it even more. I've been, like I told Science Bob, I've been listening to Art Bell since I was a kid. I was always fascinated with like the mysteries of the universe and UFOs and the paranormal and stuff. And then, I never thought that I would have like an entity attachment or possession or whatever this is. It's.
Let me ask you a quick question. So you're still in the same place where you and your ex were together?
Yeah. She was here. Yeah, she was here.
And yeah, so whatever all that negative energy was between the two of you, it will infuse into your place.
Wow.
Can I ask you? Well, I can wait. I want to ask you a personal question, but we can wait till after the show.
You can ask me. It's fine. Okay with you.
Well, first of all, I keep seeing the number 7. They show me things I'm supposed to decode it. I'm not always the best at decoding, but the number 7. But also your dad, he feels distant, so that either means he's passed or he's just not around that much. And there's something connected to you need to heal emotionally with a father figure kind of thing, which can also fuck with all that energy back there behind you too.
Well, what's weird is like my dad died of you're right, he did die. He died of cancer when I was 21, like right around, right when I turned right when I was 21st birthday, and he had cancer really bad, and that was when I was living at home, like back at an old house, like 20 years ago. But it could have something. Maybe he's trying to reach out or something, because maybe he feels like I need help or something. Maybe that's why he's trying to like reach out through you or something.
Yeah. Well, absolutely, but also when we have grief, that sometimes it's hard to heal from grief, especially when you're that young.
Yeah.
And you're still young. To me, you're still young. They want you. They all want you to heal from this, because any heartache we have is just ammunition to this piece of shit energy. So in a way, this is kind of good because it needs to happen. You need to heal more from this. And you can do it in baby steps in your own way. Anyway, I'll shut up about it, but that was just...
No, you don't have to.
Do you know what the number 7?
This is why you invited him on.
Is it 7 a month? What's the 7th month? What is that? January, February, March, April, May, June, July?
July.
Does July mean
July.
Is it that?
Is July important?
No, not that I know of. Not that I.
I don't know what number 7 means.
What a regular thing that happens when she does these readings is she'll say something like this because they don't give her clear things to decode. Later on, you figure out what it means.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just making sure if the 7 shows up to pay attention to the surroundings of you. But yeah, it's mainly you have to heal when you're ready. Certain things in your life that you haven't healed yet. Sorry.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe that's why I was 7. Kentucky Bigfoot. 7 is the number of perfection, security, safety, and rest.
Okay. So maybe it's his dad's. Well, yeah, of course. So it'd be okay. Good.
And you need all 4. you need security, safety, and rest most. Because I mean, you've been through it, dude.
Yeah.
And all of it, and angst and worry and anger and fear and all that stuff, that just opens the door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. And then for some reason, when people clear it, it just keeps attaching. That's what I find, really weird.
But let me ask the tough question. Have you settled in your heart and your mind and your soul all that happened in the breakup or whatever? Because if all of that is,
I think finally, you mean with my ex? Yeah. Yeah, I think I have, but it took a while.
Yeah, it does.
It does. It definitely does. That's normal. But while all that was going on, you were an open door.
Well, he's also a sweet soul, so of course they're going to pick on.
Of course they are.
They pick on every kind.
Every kind of sweet soul, but they pick on sweet souls most.
But you'll get it. You're very protected. You're very loved. And it even upsets the energies around you that love and protect you, because there's only so much they can do for some reason with these types of things. I don't know if there's like a universal law or some bullshit, but they can only do so much. But I promise you, they're doing as much as they can to help you, and you will get.
And you need to address your deceased people in your life and these guardians, whether you know who they are or not, and just tell them, I'm aware you're here. I love you, and I love that you're here, and help me. They will ask them.
You do have aliens around you too.
You do,
but they're good. Yeah. They're not. They're definitely good, or not bad.
Are they grays?
I don't know, but I don't know.
Yeah, they probably are, and probably you're seeing them in dreams and elsewhere if you don't see them regularly. We all have aliens around us, every one of us.
I thought that they might be doing like something in this area, because I've saw triangle ships. I mean, I haven't been able to get any of them on film, but I thought what I saw was a triangle ship a couple of times. The way these stars looked, the way they were positioned in like a perfect triangle. And I looked at it a couple of times. I'm like, I wonder if that's a triangle craft cloaked, And I was like, and I just kind of like put it off to the back of my mind. And now that I keep thinking, I'm like, I'd love to talk to some of the other people around here to see if people are having like experiences or what's going on. There could definitely be something. I don't know.
I wish. Wouldn't that be great if you could just go to your neighbor and be like, "Hi, just wondering, have you ever been abducted before?" I would love to.
No, we are scared to do it. The neighbor behind us is taken regularly, and we won't say anything. I don't want whatever it is attacking us, and I don't want them going to the homeowners association and getting us thrown out.
Yeah, that's something you got to watch out for. You got to watch who we tell this stuff to, because if we tell these stuff to certain people, they would in Pennsylvania they call that a 302. They'll put you in the mental hospital. You know what I mean? Or they put me. I mean, if I tell the wrong person, they might think that I'm seriously but that's, I was telling when you left, Bob, I was telling Walla that's what's wrong with America. I was saying, I talked to this guy in Thailand, and he said it's normal over there for them to for it to be more spiritual, and they talk to the spirits and ghosts and stuff. Whereas here on the Western culture, it's so taboo. You know what I mean? It's still very taboo, and some people don't even believe it at all.
Robert, we have video of what we're telling you, and we still won't go talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because he's right.
It's just
weird
we don't dare do it, and we have us and a dog to care about.
Yeah, I remember you guys because it came on my show. You got some pretty amazing UFO evidence, right? Are you still getting all that?
It's only gotten better,
dude. Oh my God. Okay. We had what was the Brandons on our show? Brandons.
Yeah.
They started talking about a couple years ago in April. They started talking about this craft that was very close. They had experience with, and I thought about it. It was the same craft I saw. The only one I've ever seen super close to where I saw detail. She saw the same detail that I saw, and this was years ago. I saw it a few hours before they did. So this thing was going up the East Coast of the United States, and it was so validating, because I remember I've been asking everybody, do you know what this weird plumbing thing stuff was on the underbelly? And nobody knew what I was talking about. They looked at me like I was nuts. And it's just amazing that, except they got sick. They got really bad health issues after they had that experience. So I don't know why they experienced it, but it's amazing connecting online to you and everybody else, because we've all, a lot of us share the same experiences, and it's validating.
So another thing we've done, we get a lot of stuff on these cameras, and we're constantly trying to weed out stuff that can't be kind of what we're talking about. So on April 4th, we had a orb fly in the northern sky right above our neighbor's house.
Wow.
And I said, that cannot be an airplane because it doesn't have any nav lights. It just doesn't have any navigation blinkers. So whatever it is, it shouldn't be up there. And I don't think it's anything ours. So we have this device, which is called Madar. There we go. Madar 3. And it alarmed 750 times with the magnetometer in it pointing right at that orb. And using these devices, you can separate a lot of prosaic stuff from a lot of stuff that is anomalous. So in addition to this, we have a MUPAS. I can't go in the other room and get it, but I gave a talk about these two devices and some other stuff that normal everyday people who want to know, is what I saw weird or am I crazy? This will give you an indication that it's something anomalous. And I talked about that in my talk at UFOCon 2025, which will come out soon. And you can go look at the video like everybody else can. I might do one myself on here.
I knew there was besides you being cool and interesting, I knew there was another reason I wanted you to come on here. And now I know why. I have to give you more messages, and we have to help you with your issue. I knew it because I'm always drawn, because everybody knows I'm super shy and a weirdo, but I was drawn to contact you, and I knew, okay, this is good. This is very good. Anyway, sorry.
I'm glad you did. I don't know if you knew this. I lost my YouTube channel too. I had a main YouTube channel. I was telling Science Bob this. I had 20,000 subscribers, and for whatever reason, they decided to take my channel down. So, I had to start a new one, and I started a new one, and I'm already up to 2,000 subscribers. But it's been tough. It's been really tough losing my main channel. So this helps get me a little bit of exposure too. So thank you. That's awesome. I really appreciate it.
I'm looking. What I put up earlier is true. This is her first live reading on this show.
What?
And I knew when she said, I gotta have Robert Kalil, I'm inviting him. I knew something like this would happen. I just knew it.
Where can everyone find you, and what's your new show called? What days and times do you have it?
It's really easy. It's youtube.com. It's on YouTube at truthseeker5197. So it's real easy. It's at truthseeker5197 on YouTube, and then I'm on Rumble. It's just Typical Skeptic. It's rumble.com/Typical Skeptic. That's real easy. And then I'm also on audio. My audio stuff's backed up to 2021. So all my audio podcasts are, still up. And then I'm also on Odyssey. If people want to check me out on Odyssey, I don't post a lot there, but I do. And then I'm also on TikTok too. I'm a Typical Skeptic podcast on TikTok. I'm trying to build up my TikTok because I heard that TikTok is like the biggest one. They said that's the one you want to be on, and TikTok's allowing people to post videos if they're under 60 minutes now as well. So you can even edit it out and put 60 minutes of a video on TikTok. But but usually mostly it's on YouTube, Rumble, and then audio, and then when I say audio, I'm on Spotify.
You have 150 live listeners, and it will grow much in the next week. Just we're happy to help you, and you help us.
What days does it come on?
That's one thing about me is people love it. I'm on every day. I do a show every day, and you're gonna think I'm crazy. Sometimes I do multiple shows a day. I've done over 1,900 podcasts.
I'm glad it's not all destroyed. And look, go bug YouTube about giving you back all your video, except they've copyrighted.
I'd love to. I've gotten to battles with them on Twitter about trying to get my channel back. They wouldn't budge, I don't know, and it sucks because I put so much time into that channel. Let
me give you a warning. Let's suppose you play a clip from something else. If it goes 1 second over their internal fair use doctrine, that's a copyright strike 3 and you're gone.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure your clips from other channels that you don't have all these written permissions from fall under the fair use doctrine, or they will nail you.
Yeah.
With no recourse.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. I think, but they were hitting me with more like community guidelines. They were saying that like my content was dangerous, and I'm like, my content's
Oh,
not dangerous. You know,
See
like
what
it's
all
like
other people put on there. It's horrible.
I know
yeah.
that's fun. I said the same thing while I was like I was like women walk around naked on YouTube, and you have like rappers and comedians who scream the F bomb and all kinds of other obscene words, and I'm
And
just talking about truth.
have you seen the Polaris UFO videos that are on YouTube?
No.
You would not take a Navy SEAL to see that without describing it in detail first, because it might be worse than some of the stuff they've seen.
Well, what you have to say now is this is entertainment purposes only, or just my opinion. That's usually what I hear people do now before they start anything. So
Yeah, that's what I do. I put a disclaimer on the bottom of the screen now, and I say I'm not giving medical advice, because that's one thing they hit me for a lot of times, was they said that we were doing something medical, because I have a lot of alternative health people on and stuff like that, and I'm not even going to go there because I don't want to even get your channel taken down, because like they're real touchy on that stuff, like they're,
Okay, give our audience a goodbye, and then don't leave after we shut down the live stream.
Thank you for coming. He's saying we're done. That was his nice way of saying, all right, it's time to go.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody. And I hope everybody checks out my channel. And thanks to anybody who came from my channel and watched. And thank you guys. You guys are great. And that's it. I thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
And we are doing everything we can to pray for you and all that other stuff. We'll hang around for after we stop the live stream.
Thank you for coming on.